Microphone.
Oh, okay. All right. Can you hear me? Okay. I would like to welcome everyone this morning. We are here today to receive input from the community on the tax millage rate proposed for this school year. The superintendent has recommended a millage rate of 20 meals, which means that the millage rate will decrease by 1 meal from last year. We encourage and value public input into the school system's budget process. This is the first of 3 public hearings where the public will have an opportunity to have a voice. Additional hearings will be this evening at 5:30 p.m. in the boardroom and Thursday, July the 20th at 6:30 p.m. also in the boardroom. The administration and the board will consider all the input received at the hearing prior to adopting a millage rate on Thursday, July the 20th at their regular scheduled meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved. Second.
A motion to approve the agenda has been made by Ms. Duncan and second by Ms. North. All in favor? Motion carries. Do I hear a motion to, okay, we already started, excuse me. Let's see, do we have any wishing to address the board? Any visitors that want to address the board? Don't have any, okay. All right, Keith.
Good evening, Madam Chair Brown, Madam Vice Chair Duncan, Dr. Rose, members of the board. Let me first say that the board passed the FY24 budget last month. We're in the process of setting the millage rate that will fund the local revenue part of that budget. Now I'd like to take a look at the current year tax digest plus the 5-year history to point out a few things, as well as make some comparisons. The first thing I'd like to point out is the millage rate in 2018. This is the calendar year you're looking at. It's our fiscal year 2019. It was 24.90 and it's now going to be in 2023, our fiscal year 2024, 20 mills. That's a reduction of 4.9 mills, which is approximately $16 million given back to the taxpayer over that time. Also this year, the senior tax exemption went up from 35 to 50. That's another 2 million in lost revenue that we gave back to the citizens for that. So totally 18 million over the 6-year history given back to the taxpayer. The taxes levied, that is that column right there. You can see that column has gone up. That is what the board, what we would receive if we collected 100% of the tax revenue. The board would receive. Now we don't collect 100% because there's a collection fee, there's abatements and stuff like that. So that's not included in that number. That, like I said, that number has gone up, and I'll kind of do some comparisons on that here shortly. The net tax increase down here at the bottom, that's the tax, that's not the increase of the property tax on the citizens. That's the increase of property taxes that we receive. So this number is usually a little higher than what the tax increase is from the citizens. And I'll give you an example of that here shortly. 2021, I'm going to draw your attention to that. The board took the rollback rate in 2021. That there was no advertising done, no public hearings done because there was no increase in property taxes on the citizens that year. But you can see down there, the net tax increase was 2%. We received 2% because of growth in the digest where there was new things added on to the digest. That's revenue that we received that does have no effect on the millage rate or the taxes on the citizens. So that's the revenue we like to get. Any growth in the digest, it doesn't affect them. So we like to get that. The following year, the 11.6 increase, 3% of that, almost 2.9 was growth in the digest. So the actual tax increase for the citizens that year was 8.7. There was a lot of people going around saying that the property tax increase was 11.6. That was not true. It was 8.7. If you look at the ad under the digest that we advertised, it said 8.7 clearly. So I just want to bring that to your attention. This year, something in reverse has happened. With the increase in senior exemptions and the growth, the senior exemption was was more than the growth in the digest. So we had kind of an inverse effect where we had negative growth per se. So the 12.7 is actually lower than what the tax increase on the citizens will be. It'll be just a little bit higher at 12.98. And like I said, that's because of the increase in exemptions. The exemptions went way up. The growth didn't catch up that amount. So we had the opposite happen, which is hopefully that won't happen again, but that happened this year. Let me make a few comparisons that'll just show you how we stand with that taxes levied and the increase. The Rockdale County, if you add all those at the bottom, the increase in Rockdale County is 55.3%. If you look at all the surrounding counties around us, you can see that we are the lowest. There's one county that goes from 67 to 59 to 71 is the highest. So that shows you that they are going up, where ours are going up not quite as much as the ones all around us. So that's a good thing. Homestead exemptions. That's what you get off your assessed value of your property taxes. This is the school M&O homestead exemptions for the counties around us. Rockdale counties is 15,000. All the counties around us, 4, 2, 4, 12, 5, and 4. So you can see we're well above those. The FY24 proposed millage rate for the counties around us. Let me say that 2 of the counties sold bonds. So they have what is called a school bond debt service millage rate. That is to collect the payment on the bonds that they have to do. So that is a separate millage rate that should be included because that is tied into the schools. 2 of the counties have those. One of the counties, the one on the bottom there, they just paid off their bonds this year. The past 6 years, they've had over a 3% bond rate on top of that 20. And also that county's millage rate at 20 has stayed the same for the entire 6 years. So that's something to look at. So you can see the proposed millage rates over there to the side. There are a few lower than us. There are some higher than us. I will say that the one right under the 16.88 county, their senior exemption is 30,000, about 50, and their homestead's 4. So I will say that. And then if you go down to the starting pay for the teachers of all of these counties around us, you can see that we fall 4th in line there of all those counties. I will say again that the 2 with the lowest millage rate had the 2, or the top of the 2 is the lowest paid teachers. So that's information too. And let me just, I know most of you know this, but the public, some of the public may not know this. I just want to go over a few did you know things. Starting salary for the teachers in Rockdale is $48,720. The state base is $41,092. Anything over that is funded locally. RCP has a debt-free system. We've been debt-free since SPOS 1. We paid off all our debt, so we don't have that school bond millage rate. 20% of the teachers we hired this year, have left the system, but are coming back to the system. Not retired. The teachers that left for another county, now they're coming back to us. So that says a lot. RCPS has specialty and choice programs. RCPS offers more than 30 CTA career pathways into industry certification. RCPS offers low student teacher ratios, elementary 19:1, middle 20:1, high 20:1. RCPS partnered with Georgia Military College to open satellite campuses in Conyers. RCPS graduates receive more than $20.8 million in scholarship offers and enlisted in all branches of the U.S. military. These 2 deal with the government. I'll just read this one. The governor signed a property tax relief bill as part of the FY 2023 supplemental budget. That will reduce the assessed value of your home by $18,000, which will result in a $360 credit on your school M&O tax bill. You hadn't seen that yet, but you will see it when your bill comes out. If you're a senior 65 and older in Rockdale County, this year you will pay no school M&O taxes if your pay's value is less than $170,000. Thank you.
Madam Chairwoman,
Yes.
if I may, I just want to thank CFO Hall for his detailed presentation. And if you noticed, it was more detailed than may be typical, because when we talked about this presentation, we agreed that it would be important to share additional information in the interest of educating our public on many important aspects of ultimately determining a millage rate so that our public understands the relationship between our fiscal year budget and the millage rate. First, sequentially, first the budget is established, and of course our board affirmed and approved our budget, and then you set the millage rate so that you can fund that budget that has been approved. And so I think it was also important, we didn't name counties, but we did include information from other counties, because sometimes data points are shared, but it's not in a comparative context. And so, of course, people can have views or feelings about data that's shared absent a comparative context. When you have that comparative context, you see, for example, that our rate of increase is the lowest of surrounding counties, that most surrounding counties carry bond debt, which you have to add on top of the M&O millage rate to get a more accurate picture of the tax responsibilities for the citizens. And you see that with us carrying no debt and now having reduced the millage rate almost 5 points in 5 years, you see that that we're able to credibly and accurately say that we have reduced the millage rate most significantly of any metropolitan Atlanta school district, and certainly in the surrounding school district. And so that's very important to take a look at. And the exemptions, you pointed that out as well, Keith. So I think it's important. And I will say, I want to commend the board collectively for their support over the last 5 years of the fact that we are recommending what is a 6th millage rate reduction in my tenure. But this board has approved those reductions, even as they have been supportive of incrementally increasing staff compensation. And I think that's very, very important. And I commend this board for that. What I will tell you is that we do, HR does data points and surveys of our staff. And as we've shared this before, our staff consistently put pay, right, in the top 5 reasons for the top 3 reasons. It's number 3. Pay is number 3 is what my chief HR officer is signaling. And so we know it's important, but what we also know, and I'll add to what Keith, data point that Keith shared, of those teachers who have left our district and are returning, most of those teachers are returning from districts, some of them are returning from districts that actually have a higher compensation. Why is that important for me to say? Is because it affirms our data that says there are other factors that teachers take into account when they're making a decision to either leave a district or return to a district. How accessible is the district office administration? How supportive are their school? Is their school administration? Do they feel like that they have a voice and that they can connect and their voice can be heard with district office administration? Sometimes that's lost in larger districts. I've worked as an administrator in Gwinnett County and other counties, large counties. Sometimes that can get lost. And so that's a point of pride for us. And so again, what I just want to say is thanks to our board, our governance team, for your support of our fiscal decision making. And I feel very good that we've always balanced the interests of taxpayers and our students, and this is important, with the priority always being what we believe is in the best interest of our students. That is what I believe everyone on this dais believes. Certainly collectively, that is what this dais believes, is that you have to prioritize what's best for students. And when there may be occasionally a conflict in what you believe is best for students and what may be ideal for taxpayers, I think collectively this board has consistently done what they believe is best for students, but we have a record on taxes that we're proud of, and we don't shrink away from that. So thank you for your indulgence, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you, Dr. Oates. There are no visitors who would like to address the board. The public hearing will conclude at 9:30. Do I hear a motion to conclude the meeting?
Second, Akita Palmer.
A motion to conclude the meeting has been made by Sandra Jackson-Letts and second by Akita Palmer. The meeting is concluded at 9:30 a.m. Can I get a vote for that? All in favor? Any discussion? Motion carries. The meeting is adjourned, 9:30 a.m.